Spaceborne 2, is it worth a buy from a Star Citizen gamer? Let's find out. So, DBK sent me this game for free, so it's an unbiased review. It's me trying it for the first time and giving you guys my honest opinion on it. I will tell you straightforward, you can pause here at any moment to kind of look at the stats. I will skim through a lot of it just because I want to give you my full breakdown of what I think about the game. So, starting off, please note I am a very dedicated Star Citizen, well, old streamer, but I do love Star Citizen with a lot of passion. So, I wanted to find something that I could enjoy and play on the side when we have those lovely moments when it's just unplayable. We all kind of know that. So I think there's a lot of gamers out there trying to figure out a different game to play in the meantime, and it's very hard to find something that can, I guess, scratch the itch of, as you would say. This game, I have to admit, if you're into single player games, this game will be for you. It's a mixture of a multitude of games. I've seen people say it's similar to Eve. I've seen people say it's similar to um, Elite Dangerous. Also Star Citizen. This is a game all in itself. It has a lot of stuff. Very intricate. It's pretty exciting to play. You'll see further along that the system is third person for your character, first or third person for your ship, and there's things to do from factions, alliances, trading, mercenary, freelancer, uh, multitude of things that you can actually do within the game. I just finished off learning about raids. So there is systems and you have to essentially build an army, and it's almost like an RTS style. You will set up your army and you'll tell, "Hey, I want you to go to this system." Well, within the system, I want you to defend the warp gate. I want you to defend this outpost, and I want this group to defend this other thing. So it's pretty neat how they have that laid out. But I also want you to hear some of the audio in the game.
It's been 4 moons. When do you plan on paying my rent? Why don't you consider doing more rookie work? Our connector always has many freelance jobs available. When was the last time you spoke to him?
As a matter of fact, I was looking for a pilot to take an old woman to the Fairhander station. Well, there is this one combat mission, but they specifically requested a minimum of SX for class ship. That thing shouldn't even be categorized as a ship. It's made up of so many different ship parts. I couldn't even begin to guess its class. Okay, I'm going to stick my neck out a little for... Don't make me regret this.
So I kind of wanted you to hear that just so you can get a little idea of what the voice, different sounds like. It's nice that they use AI just for the time being, but it's different voices, so it does add to the game a little bit. Also, take some of the scenery here and listen. Definitely, I have to admit, I'm wearing headphones at the time, so I can hear it left and right behind me. It's really got some good sound in it, and it really immerses you into the game. And as I was previously saying, like there is a lot of stuff to do in this game. It can be a little overwhelming. Coming up, you'll kind of get an idea of the tutorial system that they have, and it's not bad. It's video based, but it doesn't explain everything. I tried afterwards to look into the options for settings, and I couldn't really find all the answers I was looking for. So it's hit or miss. It's one of those types of games that when you pick it up, uh, if you're not into trying to just play around with things, you might be turned away. Here's a great part of the tutorial showing you how to travel.
To start warp, first, open the scanner interface. Here you can see the locations to warp. Then set a target by clicking it. After choosing alternatively, you can activate your ship's warp drive while you haven't selected a warp target yet. In this way, you can see the warp points in the system and to start warp, first, open the scanner interface.
So it's a very basic tutorial, but it gets the job done. And that's essentially what you're trying to do. So in the game, like I said, you get your ships. There's a multitude of different types of ships, from transport, so cargo running, mining, your fighters, capital ships, and now they just introduced motherships. Um, I have to admit, he is constantly, it's one guy constantly coming out with a lot of updates. And again, a lot of people give reviews saying, hey, it's one guy, comparing it to Star Citizen. I'm honestly, you can't compare what you see here to Star Citizen, just like you can't compare Star Citizen to a lot of other games. It's two very unique games, that actually three, four, five, all of them are unique games. So it's very hard to actually compare them. Here you can kind of see the options. Looks like they're going to have game controller. So, I mean, that's a plus if you love to use a controller. There is a section for HOTAS. I did not have mine set up at the time, but I've heard it's hit or miss. The sensitivity is very high. Here's a little bit of combat so you can get an idea of how it feels. It isn't too bad.
Shield recharging.
The sounds, the graphics, everything, I have to admit, is really good.
Target shields are down.
And
Target
here's some of
destroyed.
the on-ground combat. It's, again,
I found some weapons and
third
ammunition
person,
there.
not a fan.
Go and equip them before the encounter.
I've just never been a fan of third-person shooters. They're not my cup of tea. I enjoy the first-person aspect. Looting, very easy. Of course, I didn't see the gun that was sitting right there in front of my face. I thought it was an actual box. Like I said,
Now go to that platform and neutralize the
the
pirates.
tutorial system isn't the best in explaining things. Again, I'm not talking about the video, but trying to learn some of this stuff, it didn't tell you F is to pick up anything. It's kind of one of those things that I kept hitting E. I'm used to E. But just, shooting felt really well. And it's not a bad combat system. Graphics, again, pretty decent. Don't expect anything spectacular. It's basic for reasons of it's one developer, and hey, it works. I love how it looks. I love how it plays. It's smooth. I didn't have any issues. It's fun overall, and that's the key thing. So pretty much, from, like I said, from a really dedicated Star Citizen player, this is actually very intriguing, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I thought it was very basic, and I'm not really a single player type of guy. So playing this, I was a little iffy, but it is a lot of fun. If you can bear with the troubles of there is no hand holding. So you really got to kind of have an understanding of what you're doing and trying to figure it out, because that was definitely the hardest part of playing. Here's some of the graphics you can kind of see. kind of working on
Landing
it.
gear deployed.
This part with landing, I have to admit, I love it. I love that they have that little camera underneath for landing. I wish Star Citizen would have something like that. I think it's very helpful. Very helpful. So overall, I think it is a great game. There are some bugs. For example, this is a bug I could not get my character to talk. I eventually had to skip the conversation. But here's some, I have to give it some good things. Here's some of the sound effects from within a lightning storm. And I have to admit, really done well. Along with the drops on the ship, it looks really good. So, my take, if you really want something and you enjoy single player and don't worry about multiplayer, this is definitely a buy. I enjoy it a lot. There's a lot to do, and I don't want to spoil it. That's why I'm not showing a lot of the stuff I've been playing. You're going to find out there's bigger ships, there's a lot to do, and it's a blast. I am, again, I'm really enjoying it. So I think it's definitely one of those buys if you want something to do while Star Citizen isn't in the best state, and you can just kind of sit back, relax, enjoy a game, turn it off whenever you want, and come back and pick it up later. So that's my review on this, on Star Spaceborne 2. I definitely think it's worth the buy.